Hey everybody, how are you? Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear the voice? Hopefully you can. Good. Hopefully the guitar is okay and it's not super duper loud. Um, oh man, I'm really upset. I had all sorts of email problems because they changed a bunch of stuff on the server and my phone. I have a new phone because mine unexpectedly died right when I arrived at a client site. And so I spent the whole week trying to deal with that. And so I made the quiz. I may have to take a minute to get to the quiz a little bit later today. So sorry about that. I do have the quiz, but it's on my phone. And so it's going to be tough to work or to read it. But I know it did get here somehow. I thought I saw it anyway. So I'll check that. Hopefully I can get that. No, that's not it. Anyway, sorry. This is crazy stuff. I think we are going to talk about just a little bit before we get to the quiz. We're going to talk about making weird chord changes and dealing with those. But first things first, let's say hello to everybody. Hi, El Rondo. Missed you most of last time, or maybe I missed you last time. It was after all Easter Sunday. Hello, Matt. Good to see you. TBA, always good to see you on. Geert, good to see you. Hope you guys are enjoying each other's company as well. And let's see, Scott, hi. Thank you for the note the other day. Appreciate it. Robbie, hello. Gib, hello. Yeah, it's always fun on Sunday, even though I'm a little bit disorganized today for sure. PDM 49, welcome and happy Sunday to you. I think last time, yeah, for sure, lots of days are family days. For me, that was the third day of Seder, of Passover, so we had skipped the first and the second. And we do both Easter and Passover in my family. So it is what it is. So lots of stuff kind of going on last Sunday. All right. So I think last time we covered a little bit of, Stormy Monday and playing over Stormy Monday. I'm going to raise my chair a little bit. And, somebody brought up the augmented chord. Now there's lots of different sort of chords for Stormy Monday. And I'll see if I can clean this up just a little bit. Okay. Hopefully that sounds good. Yes, Garrett, I'm blue. I decided to wear my Canadian national uniform, as somebody said the other day. So I like that. Plaid flannel. That's pretty funny. I like that a lot. Anyway, so, there's lots of different chord changes to Stormy Monday, but some of them, red plaid. Yeah, I know. But some of them are they vary a little bit, but basically they are as follows. Let me just move this over so you can see the top of the guitar. So we're going to play it in G. So we'll play a G7 or G dominant, right? Allman Brothers played this stuff. G9. But anyway, G dominant is fine. To the C dominant, C9, G7, A flat 7, G7. Now to the 4 chord, which is the C9. Okay, now here's where it gets a little bit different. G7, that's normal, but now we'll go to the 2 chord, so it takes more of a major flavor. The 2 chords in A minor 7th, the 3 chord, which is a B minor 7th. And now here's where it can vary. You can either play the B flat minor 7th, or you can play the B flat 7th. Either one's fine. And then we'll go back to the A minor. D 7th altered chord. And now the turnaround, right? So we've got a G7, C7 or C9, back to G7. And here's where you can play that. You can play a D7, it sounds great, but here's where a D augmented comes in. All right, so there's lots of different changes, but we can play them, again, we'll play them more or less like I just did. G7, C7, or C9. A flat 7, G flat 7. Now to the 4 chord. C9, Blue Mountain Boy. Oops. G7, A minor, 7. B minor 7, then we'll play the 7th. B flat 7. A minor 7th. D altered chord. And now the turnaround. That D augmented. Okay. All right, because of that, I got to thinking, you know, what do you play over some of these chords? How do you play when you get that D augmented and you don't know how to finger it, or if you're just playing chords, or because I've had plenty of those where I look at a jazz chart and it's got chords that I don't recognize. What do I do? And then how do I solo over that? How do I solo over chords like that? Oh, we did that last time, and let me just kind of catch up on the questions. So Dwayne, hey Dwayne, how are you doing? Do I have my own music book? I don't. Maybe I should publish a simple one, right? Simple street theory sort of stuff. But anyway, Frank just bought a pedal. Cool. Can tell us about it a little bit. That'd be great. I'd like to talk about that. Hey, GMAC, good to see you. All right. So augmented chords are cool. That does add some real flavor, right? It's in the beginning of Chuck Berry's Driving Along in My Automobile, and they're in a lot of other places. There's a cool chord in John Mayer's I'm Gonna Find Another You. That's an augmented chord. But you can't stay on augmented chords very long because they give you the creeps after a while. All right. So anyway, what do you do if you come across something like that? So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a couple of different things, and then we'll say, how can you play the changes on that? So the first one I want to do, we'll simplify it a little bit. So we'll play this one. So this is based on Leon Russell's Hummingbird, and it's in the key of D minor, but we're going to, just to keep the theory easy, we're going to call it the key of F, okay, which is the related major, so we can think about the chords a little bit easier. So it's not really a blues, but it's one of those things where you might come across, what do I play when I get to? Okay, so it's in D minor, so we're going to start out in D minor. Okay, and then it goes to B flat. D minor, G. So far, all these are normal chords. If I were going to play an accompaniment, I wouldn't have any problem. Okay, another D minor. All right, now that is a beautiful chord. That is an A7 sharp 5 chord. Oops, sorry. A B major, and then to an A or an A7. Okay, and then we're going to go back to that now. So let me show you the progression again, just so we get it. So the progression is D minor, B flat, D minor, G, A7, or I'm sorry, D minor, A7 sharp 5, and then B flat to an A7. So what do you do if you're like me and you saw that A7 sharp 5 and you panic just a little bit? You're like, where the heck is that? What is that chord? And so forth. So here's my advice when you're doing that. Whenever you freak out, okay, and you see something like that, just take Joe Pass's advice. Joe Pass, he said basically there are basically only three chords. The three chords are majors, minors, and seventh chords. Everything else is window dressing. Okay. So if we take that approach and we just play, say, three notes from that, we can handle that. Now, is it going to have that same beautiful feel that that A7 sharp 5 had? No, it's not, but you're going to get through it. Okay. And it's not going to freak anybody out. Okay. So let's try that. Let's just try playing that with triads, and I'll show you it works. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this A7 sharp 5 and we're going to take it as just an A7. All right. I'm just going to show you the difference between that. Okay. So here is the song as is. Here's a key chord. All right. So on that key chord, instead of playing that, you'll just play an A7. So it's going to be. Here it is. So did you hear? You hit the key note. The key note is this change right here. And that's the only thing that you really need to be thinking about is that. So let's try that. So that's one of the things that you can remember. Now, the second thing is, if you remember your triads, there are four triads. There's majors, minors, diminished, and augmenteds. And augmenteds, if we recall, so that's the first way is just use a seventh chord. Okay, whenever you see one of those crazy chords, just use a dominant seventh chord and focus on. Remember last week we did that simple thing where we're only playing like two notes. We can do that. You can only play the guide tones. It's going to sound great. It really will. It'll sound fine. The second thing that you can do is to play a triad. And so if we're playing triads, you'll recognize, for example, anything with a sharp 5 is probably going to be an augmented. So we just play an augmented triad. And so just for everybody's sake, so we get this, I know we've done triads a bunch of times. I'm going to play an A triad right here, root on the 4th string, 7th fret. Okay, so I'll play an A major. A major is the 1, the 3, and the 5. Right? A minor is the 1, the flatted 5th, and the 5. I'm sorry, the flatted 3rd. Flatted 3rd, sorry. Minor is A, is the root, the flatted 3rd, and the 5. Okay. Right, so we're taking the 3rd, flatten it. Diminished is flatting the 3rd and the 5th, so it'd be like this. And finally, last but not least, we take that major and we augment the augmented means you sharp the 5. Very, very cool, right? So anytime you see a sharp 5, you just play an augmented triad. Barely sounds different from this, right? It is different, but not that much. It still has that scary sort of flavor. So that's the second thing that you can do is just to take that. All right. So those are, I think, the two really simple options to keep you from freaking out when you see a crazy chord on your sheet or somebody wrote up a tab and they have some crazy chord. You can just start saying, okay, if it's If it's all I have to think of is a dominant, major, or minor, and then just play the appropriate triad. Or if I want to get fancy, if I see that sharp 5, I can play an augmented triad. Augmented triads are really simple because they're all the same shape. Let me show you. So if I play an A triad, I've got this one right here, right? Right, here's my third, here's my root, here's my third, here's my fifth. Augmented means sharp the 5. Notice that pattern? All right, let me play it up here now. Sharp the 5. Here's the 5. Play it up here. Notice that's the same thing. Same. Play it up here now. Here's the root. Here's the third. Here's the 5. Move the 5 up 1. Sharp it. Same pattern. Isn't that cool? So all you have to do is move it up 4 frets. And you got it. All right. Anyway, do more on those sometimes a little bit later. Nice way to do all that stuff. All right, let me catch up on some of this stuff before we solo, and then I still somehow need to find a way to get the quiz to print. Oh, come on. Are you serious? There we go. All right. Let's get that going there for a second. Hopefully I've rebooted the computer especially, and we'll catch up a little bit here. So we've got David Smith on. Hey, David, how you doing? Mark Siebes, hey, good to see you. Robert, happy Sunday to you too, Robert. Lost your feed. Uh-oh, okay, got it. Good, got it back. Frank is on. Frank, Osman 5151. Good to see you, Frank. Okay, no such thing as too many guitars. Oh, my goodness. Yes, I like that. Geared, I'm going to have to use that. Why do you have so many guitars? Why do you have so many shoes? That's good. Everything in us. Hello. Say hi, Danny, bro. Hi, Danny, bro. All right. So let's go to soloing over that. Hey, Ron, good to see you. Let's go over soloing on this one. So there's that. And you can see that these chords mostly fit into the key of D minor or the key of F, if you think about that. But there are 2 exceptions, right? So if I'm thinking in F, D minor and B flat are both in F, but G is usually a minor. So I'm going to have to do something over that chord. And I'm just going to have to, basically, I just try to play literally over that chord. And then we go to D minor, and here's this weird chord. And let's just take a look at it with respect to D minor when we get to that, okay? So if I'm going to solo over this progression, mostly D minor is going to be fine. It's probably mostly going to be okay. The exception is going to be when I get to G. Try and get that tonality in your head. I'll play with a backing track in just a second, but get that tonality in your head and then listen to the D minor pentatonic. It doesn't quite sound right. Sounds okay, but you know, it's it doesn't have the third in it, right? And that's kind of the key flavor of that G minor, of that G. It distinguishes G minor from G major. And so if you're playing the D minor pentatonic and it doesn't have this note right here, that's going to be an issue. So it's not going to be an issue, but you're going to sound more like what you're doing if you play that note. So, all right. Hey, Oz, good luck picking up your buddy at the airport. Thanks for dropping by. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to start the quiz just yet. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. Now, over that weird chord right here, let's take a look at that. So if we move from, say, D minor to this augmented, it's actually an augmented seventh, but what's common about that? Well, this note right here is really common, right? That's in both. That's in both of those. This is the augmented triad, which does have a D minor in the note in D minor, in that D minor triad. But this doesn't. So this C sharp is something that doesn't appear in D minor, and that's a note that you'll want to emphasize. So let me see if I can do that. And that would be the same if we played an A7 or if we played this augmented triad. To emphasize that note is really to emphasize the chord that you're playing over. All right. So let's see if we can do this. All right. All right. Let's see. Sean Daniel just did a uke video. Did he now? That's pretty interesting. Yeah, he does this weird stuff like a piano, thumb piano videos and stuff like that. Joe Brown on the uke doing I'll See You in My Dreams. Sounds fun. All right. Let's see if we can start the let's see if I can get this right. So let's just listen to this. Hear that? Might not be loud enough. All right. So I got caught looking at all of your comments. Clearly, you're talking about something else, which is fine. Maybe we just end this, and that's okay. Cool. All right. So the distortion is too quiet, or the background is too quiet? Garrett. That's kind of what I need to know. Because it did get kind of quiet all of a sudden. Now it's all okay. No, it's cool. I'm not gonna stop. It's cool. You don't have to pay attention to me. I'm just checking out. All right. So I had all these technical difficulties today. I'm still having them. So okay. So let's go through the the thing here. So we're gonna start out. It's gonna start out D minor, D minor, B flat, D minor, G, D minor. Here's that funky chord, A7 sharp 5, D minor, A7. So let's try it again. Okay, clearly not playing anything fancy there at all. But yeah, it's a minor key, D minor, the saddest of all keys. All right. So, but the point I'm trying to make here is all I'm trying to play in a lot of these cases is to stick to that D minor pentatonic. But did you notice that when I play... I'm just playing to the chord on that one, right? But I can play anything in D minor. It sounds... I can play anything like that, you know. But then when we play the when I play the G, I gotta deal with that somehow by playing something. In this case, I play. I just played notes in I just played notes in a G chord. Right, here's my right. That's all I'm doing right there. So and then on the other when I go from, all I'm doing is I'm sitting on this one note that I identified was the key difference between those two things right there, right? All right, let's try it one more time and see if you recognize that as I'm playing it through these different notes. All right, let's try it again. All right, not the greatest of all solos, but I'm really trying to play on those chords and not to simply play a scale. And I think, playing those notes makes a difference. I mean, you can play, if you want to, you can play a D minor and then play the D harmonic minor, and that kind of works over that over that chord as well. But to me, then you have to know that scale. And that sounds great. All that kind of stuff sounds great, but then you actually have to know the scale. So if you think about what chords you're playing and where you're playing over that, I think it can sound okay. All right, well, we are a half hour in. I have another one on Sunday, but I think we'll leave that for next week. We'll play a little more. We'll get back to the blues next week, and we'll see how we can do that. Now, I'm hoping that I have the quiz ready when I open this up. I'm hoping that I'll be able to see the quiz. But not clear to me. It's stuck on receiving. So something must have changed. Okay, looks like I'm getting the note. Oh, there it is. They all came in. It's last week. So I need to find something at my, there it is. Okay. So my wife did the quiz today for me. That's why I didn't have it. All right. So let's see if I can do this. Oh, geez. All right. Bear with me. We're going to get this quiz going. All right. So now I got it on this. I can get on this computer. This is not my preferred way. I usually just send it about polka. No. About polka. Let's see. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to print this out so that I can read it at the same time, so I can read your comments. Oh, of course, it's going to be that way, right? Print on one page. How about change the portrait? There we go. All right, that's good enough. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. So hopefully it's printing up. And so I like to do that so I can read your comments at the same time and see who's getting the questions right. All right. So let's see. So somebody's on who really wants a shout out. Danny, I guess. All right. 145 Blues in A. Yeah, well, we'll do, you know what? We'll do that. I think what we'll maybe do, I think last time we did a Stormy Monday type thing. We'll do a few more different blues. I know Embry Smith always asks about things like borrowed chords and how do you change the chord? How do you decide upon a weird chord that you use? Like for a typical blues sort of thing. While I'm waiting for that printing, is this going to sound a lot like, you know what? Let's take off the distortion. This is going to sound a lot like Stormy Monday. So how do those weird chords like the E minor or that E ninth, that A seventh, and then yeah, stuff like that. How's all that stuff work? So we can kind of talk about, why do you use that E ninth there? How does that work? Because that would normally be an E minor in the key of G, right? If I'm playing G, I should play an E minor. But somehow that E ninth works. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. So El Rondo, I am in Ithaca, New York, sunny Ithaca, where we haven't seen the sun, I don't know, sometime since like last August. All right, let's see. Let us see. Okay, see, now the thing is, though, my wife is not necessarily she's not a guitar player. She's a music fan. Likes really good music for sure. But she is, Cornell is here. That's right, John F. Cornell is here. And what was I going to say? She's a music fan, but not a guitar player. So, some of these may take me by surprise too. I may need to alter the order. All right, here we go. Quiz today. And there's a couple of other questions I had on here too. Yeah, Dick's. Okay, and okay, here we go. Here we go. First question. Everybody ready? GMAC, you ready? Everybody sabotage GMAC. All right. Okay, here we go. What sings in the dead of night? What sings in the dead of night? All right, GMAC with the Blackbird. Garrett with Blackbird, TBA. Okay. Hatred. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's right, John. John, yeah, it was the Beatles. What do you know? Okay. Let's see. All right. Second question. How many little birds are near Bob Marley's doorstep? How many little birds are near Bob Marley's doorstep? 3, Garrett, G-Mac, Fenderman, Robbie, John F. Oh, John F with the 9. You're quick with the draw, John. PDM 49 with 3. Yeah, man. Okay. What kind of bird is in a song by the Trashmen, later covered by the Ramones? What kind of bird? Surfing bird. Fenderman with it. Surfing bird. Okay. Few people got this. This band had a huge hit with Me and Mr. Jones, or Mr. Jones and Me, I think it was, as well as Long December. Counting Crows, G-Mac, getting it. Yeah. I will tell you, supposedly what Mr. Jones is, I won't tell you, but he was in an interview and it's like, yeah, that's what Mr. Jones is. Me and Mrs. Jones, that's a different one. That's it. Or Have You Met Miss Jones? Okay. Who rocks in the treetops all day long? Who rocks in the treetops all day long? Rockin' Robin. You got it. G-Mac with Rockin' Robin. Fenderman. Robbie missing slightly with Mockingbird. Bunch of people got Rocky Robin. Yeah, I do have Long December. I love that song. I think it's such a beautiful song. I do a video on that. Okay. Let's see. 2 songs about birds are on this Beatles album. One of those is about a bird with blue wings. The other is about what birds do. This is a tough question. One is about a bird with blue wings. Oh, yeah, Bluebird. But this is a Beatles album. That's a pretty song, Bluebird. Band on the Run. That's right. No, one is about what birds do. What do birds do? And the other song is about a bird with blue wings. Tour. Somebody got the tour. Flying is one of them. Yeah, the question is which album? That's right. That's right, Cap. Which album? Which album do Flying and Blue Jay Way come from? Magical Mystery Tour. That's right, Robbie. That's right. I'm trying to give an obscure question for the Beatles people, but Blue Jay Way and Flying are on Magical Mystery Tour. That's right. Okay, that was my question. I was improvising that if you couldn't tell. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay, Christine, here's the next one. Here's a good one. Christine McVie sings by herself about this bird. Christine McVie sings by herself about this bird. Songbird, you got it, John. And Fenderman 73 gets it as well. Yeah, that's Fleetwood Mac, right? She's one of the 2 Macs in Fleetwood Mac. Okay, here's a toughie. This 80s band with a flock of birds in its name ran so far away. Seagulls, that's right. Flock of seagulls. Okay. And let's see. So Garrett, Robbie, G-Mac, David Smith. Oh, David Smith, you got Songbird. Fenderman, Cap, David, silly haircut. Yes, silly haircut. David, you get an extra point for that. There was a great. Have you ever seen that movie? It was about the 80s. Oh, Adam Sandler was in it. I can't remember. Drew Barrymore. And he goes up to buy a ticket, and the guy at the ticket counter has that haircut. And the guy says, "I like Flock of Seagulls." He said, "Yeah, I can tell." Wedding Singer. That's right. Wedding Singer. That was not that great, but it had some funny parts to it. That was one of them. Okay. According to the Beatles, you can tell them you got everything you want. And what else? According to the Beatles, you can tell them you've got everything you want. And what else? And your bird can sing. Thank you, Garrett. Got it. Fenderman 73. All right. Okay. Okay, here's one from me. This Hendrix tune off of it's off of Axis, Bold as Love, is a classic Strat tune that demonstrates his chordal play and also has a flying theme. Here you got it. Fenderman got it. Awesome. Little Wing, you got it. That's right. Little Wing. Little Wing, if you haven't heard Little Wing before, you got to hear it. You got to listen to it. It's like I think it's one of the Strat songs. All right. In the non-Clapton style, right? All right. Or there's some other great Strat players. Gaines, Steve Gaines, and David Gilmour and Mark Knopfler come to mind. Okay. When you're at a concert, what song might you yell out that you want to hear? When you're at a concert, what song might you yell out that you want to hear? You got it. Gilmour, yeah, John. Free Bird, Free Bird. You need the lighter, though. They make them on the phones. They have a phone app that has a lighter, for those of you who don't know this. It was very helpful at the Def Leppard concert. Okay, Free Bird. Lots of people got that. Robbie got it first, then TBA, GMAC, Fenderman, John F. All right. According to Prince, this is what it sounds like when two people scream at each other. That's right, Robbie. This is what it sounds like when doves cry. Close enough. Close enough for jazz. Got that typo. John F., G. Mac, Cap, Geert, Fenderman, David Smith. Awesome. All right. When Johnny, here's a new one. When El Fermi would get this one for sure. When Johnny tries to steal your gal, he's not a bird. What is he? Controversy. When Johnny tries to steal your gal, he's not a bird. What is he? He's not a bird. He's not a dog. He's a deep dirtbag. Not a hawk. He's a bird dog. That's right. That's right, David. Not a bird, not a dog. He's a bird dog. That's right. Okay. Everly Brothers, right? Okay. El Fermi would have gotten that one. Okay. This is what I want to fly like to the sea until I'm free. I want to fly like this bird to the sea until I'm free. Eagle. Fly like an eagle. Fly like an eagle. You got it. Okay. Yeah, people are very quick today. A lot of people getting it. TBA, John F., Fenderman, GMAC, Ron, David Smith, naming the band too. All right, here we go. Stevie Nicks sings about this bird in Edge of 17. Stevie Nicks sings about this bird in Edge of 17. That's right, John F., you got it. The white-winged dove. This band's hits include Take It Easy and Witchy Woman, and their favorite pastime is nailing people for copyright on YouTube. The Eagles, you got it. All right, that was a mean dig. I love the Eagles, they're great. Okay. All right, here we go. The police say you get so dizzy even walking in a straight line, and you live your life like a blank. Yeah, I know. You're right, G-Mac. Canary in a coal mine. You got it. G-Mac with that quick one on canary in a coal mine. Canary in a coal mine. Okay. The police say you're so dizzy, even when walking in a straight line, you live your life like a canary in a coal mine. Here we go. The Grateful Dead wrote this sad song about Janis Joplin. Grateful Dead's tribute to Janis Joplin. Agree, John. Great song. Bird song, Robbie. Robbie's getting a lot of these that other people aren't getting. I mean, GMAC is, of course, getting them quickly all the time. Okay, here's a California band with a jangly guitar sound. Who is the California band with a jangly guitar sound? The Byrds. You got it, the Byrds. If you haven't figured out, the theme this week is birds. The Byrds. Mr. Tambourine Man, which is actually a Dylan song. Turn, turn, turn. You got it. What's the guy's name? Roger what? I can't think of his last name now. McGuinn, is it? Roger McGuinn? All right. Let's see. Yeah, Roger McGuinn. Thank you. A bunch of people coming in with Roger McGuinn. All right. In which Beatles song has this bird flown? In which Beatles song has this bird flown? Fenderman 73, Norwegian Wood. Garrett gets it. John F. Robbie, TBA. All right. Okay. What was Chuck Berry's famous move on stage? What was Chuck Berry's famous move on stage? Famous guitar move? The duck walk. TBA, getting it. The duck walk. David Smith, Fenderman, Robbie. GMAC, of course. John F. Okay. BB King does a big song about a little bird. What's it called? It's also a Leon Russell song. Hummingbird. You got it. You got it. It's kind of what we were playing, right? It's what we were playing. And El Rondo, you'll be happy to know that the solo section goes back to being major. It's Hummingbird is the right answer. And we got that. Okay, a couple more questions. That's it for my wife's questions. I weaved in a few of those, but now here's a couple of mine. This bird lives south of the Mason-Dixon line. Oh, let me try that again. This bird lives south of the Mason-Dixon line with the Tennessee lamb. This bird lives south of the Mason-Dixon line with the Tennessee lamb. Dixie chicken. You got it. GMAC getting Dixie chicken. Robbie getting it. Fenderman 73. Fenderman 73. Okay. And the last one, this guitar maker, instead of dots or trapezoids or rectangles, uses bird inlays on their fretboard. PRS. You got it. PRS. Here it is, right here. Paul Reed Smith. The bird inlays. Okay, that's right. All right. We ended that one. So let's see. What song is Dixie Chicken from, or what song is Hummingbird? Yeah, the stuff I was playing in the beginning. Oops. The is Hummingbird, right? And then that end is really just cool. Cool ending. Nobody played guitar like B.B. King. He was original for sure. All right, gang. Well, that's all I got for the quiz today. I think, there's a bunch of people. This was really distributed. It wasn't just GMAC dominating everything. Although, I wouldn't be. I don't think anybody would be remiss if I said GMAC got the win. I think Robbie was really close. I think TBA was close. Garrett was close. And so was Fenderman. But Fenderman and Garrett have already won. John F., man, you kicked butt last week. I don't think I can put you in a running on this one, but we'll do an 80s one soon, and I think you'll rock. So we'll throw in a few big-haired questions as well. So it is what it is. So I think and Fenderman, you've got a Doobie Brothers song coming up, I think, next week. So that's coming up for ye, or for you. What I do for ye, that's silly. Anyway, so that's that. I think today I'm going to give the quiz to, I'm going to go with Robbie. So Robbie Love, you win the quiz. Congratulations. You and GMAC win the quiz, but GMAC wins every week. So you win the quiz this week. So you can go ahead and give me a suggestion. You can put it in the comments of the video for what you'd like to hear. And if I can do it, I'll do it. Okay. And GMAC, since you win all the time, you can either wait or you can do it the next time you win, which I'm sure will happen sometime soon. All right. Yeah. So you can go ahead and do the same thing and put that in. And I know you've never officially won, but I think you did, but we weren't doing the prize back then. So that's there. I think still on the hopper, Geert won last week and emailed me some things that he'd like me to do, which I have no problem. I can do that one. Still working on Hammer to Fall. Hammer to Fall, it's not so tough in terms of the notes, but they're really hard to hear, and the articulation's really hard to get exact, and the sound. Brian May just had all these, 80 different dozen sounds, and it mixes in with the rest of the things. So it's proved elusive to me. So anyway, classical gas, note for note. You got it. If I can do it, I'll do it. All right. I Googled the Guthrie Trap, and I had it on my phone, and I didn't watch it. But you mean for like chord tones, right? Guthrie Trap? I got to watch that for sure. I got to watch that. Yeah, I get it, GMAC. Yeah. I mean, sometimes people ask for something that just takes a long time to get done. And in the meantime, I still have to publish. I don't have to, but I'll publish videos. So, something like the core was a perfect one because, by the way, thanks for all the love on the core. I'm glad you guys like that one. I really like doing it, and it wasn't that hard for me to put together the video because I didn't have to do a backing track on it, which is kind of cool. So, yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Robbie. Yeah, I like Santana a lot. So that was a lot of fun for me to do that smooth one, chord tones. Yeah. Brett Papa and Quist. You mean together, Quist and Brett Papa, or you mean separately? Quist, I know from like he does a bunch of backing tracks. That's all I know from his stuff. I like Brett Papa a lot. I think he's a great player. And I like his approach. You know, yeah, thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. I see. I'll check that out, TBA, because I like Brett. I like Papa Stash's. I just like how he plays a lot, and he's not fancy. He's not like a big theory guy. It's nice. He knows enough theory to work. That's what I think, and that's kind of my approach as well. Is I like theory, maybe a little too much, but but to me, I think you can overthink a lot of this stuff. And one of the things that I would say, you notice the examples that we're doing, the examples that we're doing when we're doing chord tones are fairly slow. I'm going to put this up again, right? And the reason why there is that, it's not that when you play fast you don't use chord tones. You can and you should, but a lot of times when you're playing fast, you don't have time to think about changing for every one of the notes if it's coming fast and furious. That's why stuff like the song that's really hard to, that's kind of an initiation by fire in jazz is giant steps. So people say if you can play giants, you can play the changes to giant steps, it's good. You can cut it. And one of the reasons is because they're really super fast changes, but you have to play the changes. And a lot of things, the changes are coming really fast, but you don't have to change that much because it's staying within a key. And so you don't have to worry about it. So, a classic song for that might be, some Stevie Ray Vaughan songs or whatever. But then if things are, or Skinner, where you don't really have to go out of the key, you can stay in a single scale. But if you take something like Hotel California, it's slower. And so those chord changes, you really have to, there's some key chord changes. So to me, that's one of the reasons why that Walsh and Felder solo is so compelling, is because they're hitting all those cool notes and they're doing them with bends mostly. A jazz player would play arpeggios or would play notes. And again, not poo-pooing on any jazz. Gear knows I love George Benson. Oh, by the way, thanks, Geert, for that email. I appreciate that. George Benson has a new album out. But, I love but, what makes that great, and Don Felder, yes, they treated him horribly. Don Felder had this great bending technique. So he's bending to all those chord tones with whole step bends, and there's a couple of 1.5 step bends in there from Joe Walsh. So to me, that's why it's so compelling, is they're hitting all those chord changes. You can feel the chord changes that are there, but it feels organic. They're not just playing like what I was doing, like over that, over the B flat. That doesn't take genius to play. That's nothing, right? But that might be a little bit more hard to think about. Oh, this is a chord tone of B flat if I'm thinking here. So that takes work for sure. Don Felder was a victim of the Eagles. Yeah. Victim of, I don't think he wrote Victim of Love, but boy, he was a great player. I think he was the guy who wrote Hotel California, wasn't he? Wasn't he the guy who came up with Hotel California? I like Jerry Garcia a lot. He came up with great melodies. Definitely came up with great melodies. Sia El Rondo, James Shipway. I'll check it out. TBA, I will check Shipway's book. And yeah, I need to come out with something simple, right? Simple theory. I don't know what to call it. Non theory for people who aren't Rick Beato. I always come down on that guy. He seems like an all right guy. But I just, it doesn't work for me. It needs to be a little bit more simple. We're busy people, so. He wrote the music. Okay, Felder wrote the music. Yeah. But still, he wrote the music. Uh, yeah. Which non-chord tones can you play? Yeah. Yeah, there's some, cool ideas that you can take from jazz, from, for chord tones, like the idea of encapsulation. So let's say we're playing an A, an A major, we're trying to hit that. You can play. You can play that kind of stuff, which is just kind of going around the chord tones, either within the scale or outside of the scale. But anyway, there's that. One person that I find, that I love listening to for theory on jazz is a guy named Jeff Schneider. He's a sax player, and his ideas, I think, he's very clear at presenting the ideas, and they translate pretty well. So if you can think about the guitar in terms of simple theory like triads, usually it works. It's nice because he's not showing you a trick on guitar. You have to work it out yourself. So that's neat. Yeah, I agree, David. They were Joe Walsh and Felder were both superb, and when they were both in there, that was something. And I heard Don Felder once interviewed when people were asking him about, is his technique any good or whatever, and he said, my technique is as good as I need it to be to make the music that's inside my head come out on my fingers. I just love that, right? It's as good as it needs to be for me to do what I can do. I just think that's cool. Felder's book. Well, I should read that. Rich Severson. Okay. I'll check that out too. Okay. Yeah. And I will check. Oh, it's on, wait, what's the documentary is on? What's the, Garrett, what's the documentary? Oh, Bernie Leadon? Okay. Bernie Leadon. Yeah. Oh, a lot of people got screwed. Oh, well. I mean, not everybody can fight like Tom Petty, right? Right. So, or like Neil Young. Yeah. Started out playing songs at a restaurant. So is that right, TBA? You're talking about Don Felder now? Started out playing by songs at a restaurant. If you didn't know a request, he'd go into the kitchen and look it up in a fake book. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, and back then you didn't have YouTube, right? Or you didn't have these things on your iPad where you just press a button. And I have a thing now on my iPad. It's a knockoff iPad, but I can pull up the changes to anything, and it'll play like a MIDI for me. I mean, I would have killed for stuff like that when I was in high school. And these guys and Felder and everybody else, they had it even worse. Nowadays, you can find lots of guitar players. I mean, here we are. Now there's only 13 of you left on, but yeah, Pro Tab, yeah, it's great. But here there's 14 of us on a Sunday afternoon. How hard is it? You'd have to go to schlep down to some music store and deal with all the egos at a music store just to get a little tip. Somebody tell me, oh yeah, you can play, here's this pattern that you can play, and you can even kind of pull it up. You can pull it up to another position and play it again. Check it out. Oh yeah, that's cool. And then how do you play Black Dog and all this kind of stuff? I mean, that's how I learned it without theory. You talk to other people and they show you little nuggets or whatever, and then you go back to the woodshed. So yeah, we paid our dues. I sound like a grumpy old man, but it is a lot easier. That's why when people complain about, oh man, you didn't do the tab, or you need to do a different shot because I can't see your fingers exactly. It's like, come on. Yeah. Yeah, these sessions are getting a little bit longer. We're just kind of BSing at the end. Yeah. Yeah, video replay is great. I mean, there's no question about it. There's no question about it. I'm not saying the tools are bad. I'm saying that we shouldn't complain about them. You know, yeah, kids these days, we had it rough. Yeah. Well, I will say this. One thing, it's definitely better than having to move that needle back. I had at least 3 copies of Led Zeppelin 2 because I screwed up. Whole Lot of Love was so screwed up from me moving the needle back because I wanted to know that solo, all over again. I can't even remember it now, but you know, um, anyway, yeah, and cassette tapes. Oh, geez. What made me pick up the guitar? Scar Tissue asks. Uh, like like many people, it was my mother. My mother made me play an instrument, and I had to pick an instrument. I picked the guitar, and she made me play 2 years before I could quit. And so I played. I went to this teacher who had the Mel Bay books. So I learned from the Mel Bay books, and I had this Epiphone where the action was about this high, and I couldn't play it above, the 3rd fret, and I hated it, and so I stopped. And then when I was, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11, maybe 12, I think. So that was when I was 8, and I played till I was 10, then I stopped. And when I was about 13 or 14, I got into the Who a lot. And so I bugged my parents for an electric guitar. They said no. So I cut lawns and did what I could to get a crappy little custom amp and a totally knockoff Ibanez Les Paul. Little did I know it was actually a great guitar. And so that's what I had for years. And then when I started working, I bought my 335. That's when I did that. So yeah, the old Mel Bay. Yeah. There's a funny song by Chet Atkins and Tommy Emmanuel called Ode to Mel Bay. But you know what? Mel Bay's stuff was pretty good. It actually was. The problem is, of course, nobody wants to learn that way anymore. You can't teach somebody how to read. You don't start out showing them how to read the notes and how to play Mary Has a Little Lamb or Tisket a Tasket. Not the cool version, right? Not the well, Stevie Ray did it, but Buddy Guy did it before him, I think. Yeah. Well, by the time I was 16, I had discovered Larry Carlton and Steve Howe. And so I thought a 335 was like the coolest guitar that anybody could own. And so I got a 335. Just wanted it. Yeah, tabs. Kids want tabs. They do. And tabs are okay, but they're not always so good for you. You shouldn't do tabs all the time. Wishbone Ash. Guitars guaranteed not to split. I don't get that. TBA gets it. Okay. Gallow tone. Okay. All right. Yeah, stats. This 335 is still awesome. I agree. And Larry Carlton is still awesome too. He's still my number one. I mean, I couldn't have been, I had the same influence in the beginning. It was for the ladies. I learned the guitar for the ladies. Well, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt, but no, I was into music. I was into Led Zeppelin, and I was into first Pete Townsend. The Real Me stuff, and Real Me, and all the stuff from Tommy. I loved that stuff. All the stuff from Live at Leeds, just loved it. Summertime Blues on the first thing, and then long version of My Generation, 14 minutes long, where they go into Sparks and all the stuff from Tommy. Loved that stuff. And then I discovered Led Zeppelin. And then somebody played Led Zeppelin 2 for me. I was like, holy shit. So I learned everything on that. Yeah. Gordon Lightfoot. So Alvin Lee played a 335. That's right. So Gordon Lightfoot's coming to town. I haven't heard him in a long, long time. I love the way that Tony Rice does his songs. And I love his songs, but I don't always love the versions. They are very heavily orchestrated and stuff like that. I just don't always dig that. But obviously a beautiful songwriter. Yeah, he's got to be 80 now. Hey, Morenbo. Greetings to you too. He's bald now. Yeah. David Soul song. Don't give up on us, but no, that's not it. There's some song. That's right. From Starsky and Hutch. Is that what you mean, TVA? The dude from Starsky and Hutch, David Soul? David Smith says Blackmore had a 335. Now, I don't remember that. I only remember his strats. So I wasn't a huge Blackmore fan when I was growing up. See, it was a big hole. So okay, Silver Lady. Okay. I'll check it out for sure. That's right. Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now is written on a 335. He has a Bigsby on his, though. He has a Bigsby on his 335. So, oh, thank you. Now, I don't know how to pronounce that, but Moranbo? Mo Rainbow? Mo Rainbow? Anyway, thank you. I appreciate that. Feel free to leave me suggestions for songs to play all the time. Okay. Hush is on a 335. Would never have guessed. Didn't know that. But, who else plays a 335, right? And Alvin Lee, BB plays a 335. My goodness, right? Alex Lifeson played a 335 or a 347 or 355 or something like that, but a 335-ish guitar. Yep. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now, and lots of great songs from the Smiths, I bet, were written on that 335. So, Scott, is the 335 my favorite? Yes, it is. It is. I love my 335. Love it. Gary Moore also. Gary Moore's style of blues is made for 335. I know he is a Les Paul. He's famous for that Les Paul. But there's a beautiful Peter Green. I can't remember the name of the song right now, but there's a beautiful Peter Green song that he's doing live at Montreux in 1999. And it is just so sweet on that 335. It just has such a sweet sound to it. I'm almost crying just thinking about his play. It's that good. Now I am crying. It's hilarious. But it's just such a beautiful way of playing. So just made for that. Oh, I see. Counting Crows got Mr. Jones from Dylan's Ballad of a Thin Man. Something's happening here, but you don't know what it is, do you, Mr. Jones? Oh, is that right? That's interesting. Well, supposedly, I don't remember the name of the singer, but supposedly for him and that song, Mr. Jones is his thing, is his junk. So, anyway. All right. Oh, so Scott, you just got one years after wanting one. Yeah. I love 335s. I like the small version too, the 339. I don't have one. But yeah, there's a Peter Green song. I can't remember what it is. But if you look up if you look if you look up if you go to the search engine on YouTube and do Gary Moore Montreux 1999, you'll see something there. He comes up. He's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and he's playing a 335. It's actually probably a variant. It's probably a 347 and a 345 or something. But it's a 335 basically. And it is just the sweetest sound that he gets out of that. Just love it. No, not Green Melanishi, not that one, but the same guy. Need Your Love So Bad is not it. That I don't think that's it. Maybe that's it. I don't know. He's playing out 335. It's awesome. Yeah. Speaking of 335s, Larry Carlton and Steve Lukather played a version of "'Cause We've Ended as Lovers" back when they were playing together in the 2000s. And I recently saw that, and I was like, "Holy moly!" I mean, I love the Beck version. It's like one of my favorite guitar things ever. But hard to believe how good Larry Carlton and Steve Lukather do. on that. Just so incredible. That's got to be one of my faves songs, Because We've Ended as Lovers. So anyway, so yeah, so Robbie, yeah, still love the 335. Obviously, you can tell I still love it. Of my new guitars, I love this. This is a great one. And I'm actually, yeah, thank you, Mo Rainbow. People get ready. Yeah, that's on a 335. So I like that style. I think the 335 really is. It works great on that sort of style of R&B. It's a bit heavy, yeah, for sure. It's a bit heavy. A Les Paul's pretty heavy too. Um, what was I going to say? You've probably noticed I'm starting to play Strats a little bit more. I've never played Strats my whole life, and now I'm starting to play Strat guitars, and I'm due to get another one soon. I didn't want to, but for reasons I don't want to get into, it looks like I'm going to be getting a Strat pretty soon, a real Strat, a Fender American Standard, and so it needs a lot of work. It needs work on the neck and on the fret ends, but needs a setup. Hasn't been played in just about 10 years, but it's nice. The Strat is where it's at. Well, I gotta somehow get used to it. Part of it is my picking, so my picking, the way that I pick it, I have problems with that middle pickup, and I'm constantly opening up my nails and injuring my right hand when I play on a Strat. So it's gotten better now, so I don't do that so much. Next week, let's see it next week. Okay, well, I can't show it next week because I'm going to get it. I'm getting it in June. I'm getting a new one in June, but I can show you a Strat next week. But I'm getting it in June. So yeah. According to Billy Gibbons. Oh, that's interesting. Well, Billy played a bunch of humbucker type of guitars. Yeah, I agree, David Smith. The SG is underrated. Of all the sort of iconic guitars, if you pick sort of the top guitars, right? Obviously a Strat, obviously a Tele, obviously a Les Paul, right? Of those three, my favorite is the Les Paul, but I think it's just because what I'm used to. I love a Tele too. Maybe it's just that body style of a Strat I just don't dig so much. In any event, and then you've got some other also rans. You've got Gretschy stuff like the Tennessee stuff. You've got the Eddie Cochran type of thing. You've got even more so the 335, and then you've got the SG, and maybe now you've got the standard PRS as well. But those are kind of the standards, I think. And SG, you're right, gets no love. I had an SG for a while. Guess what? I didn't love it so much, but I liked it. It was too much like a couple of my other guitars, so I sold it. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited about it too. I did get a chance to play it, and it sounds great, but it's virtually unplayable in the situation that it's in right now. And I didn't totally want to buy it, and I kind of got forced to make an offer. And I made a real offer. I made a real offer about what I would pay, and because figuring I need to get it fixed, and I priced it. I said, okay, if I take it to a luthier, this is what it's going to cost me to fix it, and that's that. But anyway, so I'm excited to get it too. Explorer, yeah, some Explorers. Not too many, not too many people play Explorers. Who played Explorers? Like I guess maybe who was famous for playing Explorer? Johnny Winter, maybe, right? Or that was a reverse Firebird. I don't know. Firebird, Explorer, kind of similar to me. Yeah. Rick Nielsen. Yep. Didn't The Edge play Explorer for a while? Alan Collins, of course. Alan Collins. Thank you, David. That's who I was trying to think of. Mim Strat with dual humbuckers. Yeah, I had one of those, or I had on loan for a while a HH Strat. I liked it. I liked it. Well, I estimated on the low side because I know a really good luthier who can do this for me. I estimated that it's going to cost me anywhere between on the low side 50 and on the high side about 350. So the thing is, right, it's got a bow in it. So is it really twisted, or just does it need to have a normal setup, right? When we get it set up, is it going to be unplayable? Am I going to have, fret outs all over the place? Am I going to have to put a new neck on it? So that's it. I mean, that's basically it. It's either going to be a basic setup, or it's going to be a new neck. And so I kind of averaged it. I think it's probably going to be a new setup, and that's it. The fret ends need work as well, but that's that. So I took $100 off. I took $100 off the price that I would pay. Yeah, I think the American Standard has a dual truss, so I think so. So that's good. You know, that's good. So hopefully it's fixable. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Two pickup telly. So that's a big stretch. What will luthier cost be? Oh, yeah, you mean it's a big stretch between those two. Yeah. Yeah. I think the MIMs are great. The pickups are different. The electronics are different. I think that's the only difference. Maybe they round the fretboard edges a little bit more on an American, but I had a MIM telly for a while. I loved it. It was great. Yep. Yep. Slim profile neck on the MIMs. I think they're a little bit slimmer maybe than the Americans. I played the neck. It was reasonably comfortable. Fender Player Series. Okay. Yeah, yep, yep. Rory Gallagher on a telly. Well, didn't Rory play the Strat, right? Didn't he? Mostly? The stuff I remember, I saw Rory Gallagher once. He warmed up for Rush, and I like Rush. I'm a fan of Rush, but one of the worst concerts I'd ever been to. Why? Not because they couldn't play what they were playing, but they played it exactly like on the record. I could have just gone home and put the record on. But Rory warmed up for him. Oh my God, he was great. He was incredible. Incredible. Yeah, Rory Gallagher, just great player. Great player. Good music. Bad fret sprout. On my on strats though, as long as they're not too bad, you can. I don't mind. Since I'm a player, I don't mind dealing with the edges that way, filing them down. All right. Well, anyway, gang, it's a hour 23. I gotta get going. I got stuff on my honeydew list. Ivor Thomas, Richie Kotzentelli. Cool. That's a Fender, or is that like uh, a Squire or another off brand for bindings? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Hey, anyway, gang, we'll see you next time. Thanks for showing up as always. We'll see you all, and appreciate you sharing your Sunday with me. Okay. See you on down the road. Got a comment on G-Max. I don't know how Fender still sells $1,000 Strats because Squires are so good. Agree. They play great. All right. Have a great one.